Welcome to this edition of T-360. I'm Cordell Cummings, your host, alongside Justin. Today we'll be talking about March Madness because we know a lot of good things have been happening in March Madness. First things first, the most impressive team so far. Who you got?
Well, for me, it's the Michigan Wolverines. They have had a great winning streak coming into the tournament. They don't turn over the ball, and they don't commit fouls. They actually lead the NCAA in fewest turnovers a game at 9.2 turnovers per game, which is a fantastic number. They also don't commit any fouls during their games. You can see that with their last game against Louisville. Louisville was down by 4 points at the end of the game, and they had a foul to give. So they fouled them, made them take the ball out of bounds, so they didn't have to shoot free throws and close that 4-point gap. Who's your team?
I'll have to agree with you. My most impressive team has to be Michigan as well. In part is because the versatility. They're not the best team, but they are playing the best right now out of all the teams in the Midwest Division. When they played OK State, they can play in a shootout. 16 three-pointers, the best since Ohio State in 2011. They broke a school record with three-pointers, and then they can slow it down a little bit, feed the post, because Rick Pitino against Louisville made it an emphasis to stop the three-point. So they went to the post with Mo Wagner and DJ Wilson, and the versatility is really hard to stop when they're coached good by Coach Beeline. So I think they're a really good team, impressive right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, a matchup to watch. For me, it has to be UCLA and Kentucky. Who's yours so far?
For me, I would have to say Gonzaga and West Virginia. The reason being Gonzaga has possibly one of the best starting fives in college basketball. The key matchup for them is going to be their center, Karnowski, who's a 7'1", 300-pound center. Imagine trying to block that guy out. It's going to be tough for West Virginia to grab rebounds. Not only that, but you also have a freshman phenom on that team in Zach Collins, who's another 7-foot center. He's averaging 10 points a game and 6.5 rebounds, and he's also averaging 45% from three-point range, which is phenomenal for a freshman. You don't really see too many big men freshmen shooting that kind of percentage. With that being said, however, I do think West Virginia will win the game. The reason being they lead the nation in steals per game. They are averaging 10.2 steals per game. The press defense that Bob Higgins has come up with that team is phenomenal. They get great steals right off the inbound pass, and they'll do it right when the other teams aren't expecting it, right in the middle of the game. Another huge reason why I think they will win is because of the fantastic guard play that they have had from Javon Carter, Daxton Miles Jr., and Tarek Phillip. Those three guards alone last game combined for 54 points of the team's 83 against Notre Dame, as well as shooting 70% from three-point range, which is a fantastic number. It was an amazing shooting performance by them that night. And Javon Carter is the team's leading scorer right now. In the last 12 games, he has had double figures in 11 of them. And he's had 24 points in 3 of those games, including the last game against Notre Dame. Now, I will say the only way that they are going to be able to win that game is to play a fast-paced tempo game. They need to really box out, including the guards. They got to make sure that they put a body on a man when a shot goes up, and they just need to play that press defense. They can do that and force turnovers and get Gonzaga out of their comfort zone and make them not be able to feed those big men down low. They're going to have a fantastic game, and I think they're going to win.
Yeah, and then the matchup I talked about was UCLA and Kentucky. One of the big reasons for that is because of the front court. Although people would go into this game talking about the guard play, Adebayo from Kentucky, I don't think the last matchup when UCLA beat them by 5 in Rupp Arena, the big men for UCLA was just too much to handle, and I think TJ Leaf, alongside the rest of their front court, along with Lonzo Ball, who controls the pace of the game, magnificent. And I think eventually he can control the pace and just slow down Kentucky in there. So might as well call it a 5-star. Everybody on the team is a 5-star, so you just have to control the pace and just give it to the big men and just let them work, really.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think with Ball's father saying what he did about Michael Jordan and stuff. Do you think that's going to affect his play at all?
I don't, because so far, so long, he's done a really good job of handling the pressure. It seems like he is brought up that way, so it doesn't make that much of a difference with him. But I think he's just a fantastic player, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference in his style and his game.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
So underdogs, everybody loves an underdog, and my underdog team of March Madness has to be Wisconsin. It's a team that's senior laden. That always works well in March Madness because they, as I mentioned, they control the pace of the play. You have two really good players in the front court with Ethan Happ and Nigel Hayes. I think that can carry them a long way with a great coach. Who do you have?
For me, it's kind of a toss-up between West Virginia and Michigan. I think both teams are phenomenal, and I can see both of them making it to the championship round. Now, that would be a very interesting matchup because you have the number one team that leads in takeaways and the team that gives up the least takeaways. So I think whoever wins the turnover battle in that game would win the championship if that came down to it.
Speaking of championships, who do you have? Who do you have?
I would say I have Florida versus UNC and UNC winning it. The reason being, I think they have the best starting five in all of college basketball. They have Justin Jackson, Joel Berry II, Kennedy Meeks, and Isaiah Hicks. All four of them are averaging double-digit point scorings in the regular season. So I think they have the best starting five in college.
And I'll agree. You can't forget Joel Berry. He's pretty much a one-man fast break. So everything I agree with. The front court is phenomenal. And I think Roy Williams is finally going to put another one in the Raptors for North Carolina. So that does it for this edition of T360. Make sure you comment on our social media pages. Thanks for watching.